Baseball is the most beautiful sport there is for an endless amount of reasons, but mainly for the sheer fact that it will make you laugh, it will make you cry, get angry, become happy, motivated, inspired, it's everything and more. There are always great baseball stories and sports stories that make us shed a tear. People doing the seemingly impossible, like Jim Abbott, the one-armed pitcher who made it to the big leagues and threw a no-hitter, someone who I've made a video about on this channel before, so go check that out if you haven't already. Jon Lester beat cancer and ended up becoming one of the more dominant pitchers in all of baseball, winning a couple championships in Boston and helping break the Cubs' 108-year World Series drought. We can go on, but there's a most recent one that is just incredible, perhaps the most inspiring baseball story there is. In 2015, the Milwaukee Brewers selected Jose Cuas out of the University of Maryland in the 11th round of the draft. During his 3 years playing baseball for Maryland, Cuas was versatile around the field and a decent hitter, as he hit .243 with an OPS over 700, hitting 30 doubles, 17 home runs, walking 55 times, and driving in 112 runs. It wasn't necessarily anything special, but the Brewers saw something in the young man, and off his professional career began. 2016 and 2017 were a big struggle for Cuas at the plate, as he hit under 200 in both seasons with an OPS in the 500s. It was bad, and the Brewers of course knew that, so they took action, converting him to a pitcher, and that didn't go so well either. In his first 19 and a third innings as a pitcher out of the bullpen, Cuas gave up 18 runs on 26 hits while walking 10. It was ugly, the Brewers knew that too, so they took action again, this time straight up releasing him. Upon hearing the news, Jose picked up the phone and called his brother with one thought on his mind: he was done. So he told his brother just that, who in return told him to relax and see what happens. Cuas then went on to sign a deal with the Long Island Ducks, an independent ball team in the Atlantic League of Professional Baseball, and pitched there, and then one day got noticed by a 6-time Major League All-Star. It was K-Rod, aka Francisco Rodriguez, who witnessed Cuas throw sidearm while warming up one day. K-Rod immediately told Cuas to start throwing like that all the time. When a 6-time All-Star closer tells you to do something that he thinks can improve your game, you should probably listen. So Cuas did, practicing the underarm slot, which felt more natural to him anyway, and he started to find more success, making hitters uncomfortable and getting outs, which led him back to a major league organization, as the Arizona Diamondbacks signed him in 2019, and he had success there too. In the low levels of the D-backs minor league system, Cuas was solid and very successful before another hurdle came his way: the pandemic. As all of you know, the pandemic impacted everything, and when it comes to baseball, it affected so many players, mostly minor league players in particular. It halted the development of many, and also got a ton of minor leaguers released, and unfortunately for Cuas, he was one of those minor leaguers to be released. This made him want to quit again. He had a family to support back home in Brooklyn. He and his wife had a son, she was pregnant with their second child, and it was all just too far-fetched to happen, at least it seemed that way for him. But his wife and brother encouraged him to keep going, so he did. Cuas ended up getting a job, like a normal job, working for FedEx delivering boxes in Brooklyn during the day, while practicing with his brother at night on a field that barely had any lights. He'd go on to pitch in the Dominican League in 2021, getting signed to yet another major league organization, the Kansas City Royals, and on to AA he went, where he was fantastic. Cuas turned some heads during spring training this year with the Royals, and started the year in AAA, where he was elite. In 20 appearances out of the bullpen, Cuas threw 20 and a third innings with a 1.74 ERA while striking out 18 hitters. And this all led to the news of a lifetime. The news that kids dream of. The news that Jose Cuas was getting called up to the major leagues. Cuas arrived at the ballpark in the third inning of the first of 3 games between the Royals and Guardians, and never entered the game despite warming up in the 7th. But the very next night was the payoff of everything he'd worked and fought for over the last several years: his major league debut. Cuas would come into the game in the 5th inning with a man on, and strike out Oscar Mercado on 9 pitches, followed by 2 groundouts from Austin Hedges and Miles Straw to get out of the inning. His family, including his brother and wife, were there to see it all, watching in proud fashion as Jose worked through the Guardians hitters. This is easily one of the more inspiring and heartfelt stories in baseball. It's one of never giving up no matter how hard it's been or how hard the road will be ahead, and accomplishing your dreams. Cuas went from a bad hitter to converting to a pitcher, only to get released twice, become a FedEx worker, and look at him now. That's really cool. We don't know how successful Cuas will be in the majors, of course, but we sure know that the man has potential. He throws hard from a weird arm slot and can get guys out. Now, whether he becomes really successful and turns out to have a great big league career or not, one thing is true, and that is that Jose Cuas did something that such a small fraction of people in the world can say they did. He made it to the big leagues. This is a guy who is easy to root for. I, of course, will be rooting for him, and you should as well. And regardless of how far he goes, this is a great story. Let me know what you think about this, and thank you for watching.